If you can believe it, despite the fact that we're talking about really hot and humid temperatures here in the Northeast, football season is almost upon us. We had our first football exhibition game last week. We had our Hall of Fame induction ceremonies over the weekend, and we're looking for our first full slate of exhibition football games this coming week. So it's time to start talking football just a little bit. And we are going to talk about Madden in this particular episode of Unsealed. And now, I'm not going to open up a copy of Madden 19 on camera. First of all, because it's a brand new game. And second of all, because I don't have it yet. I'm getting my copy of the game on the 7th, the Hall of Fame edition for the Xbox One. So I don't have the game to open yet. But I do want to talk a little bit about Madden and about my history with the series, as well as my general thoughts on the series before we talk about the main course and the game that I'm going to open on camera. My history with the Madden football series goes back to 1991. I played John Madden football for the Super Nintendo. Looking back on it now, the game was really rough. The frame rate was really stuttery, and this is the same kind of thing that we saw with NHLPA Hockey 93. There weren't any official NFL teams or players, and that's understandable. Madden didn't have the license just yet. There were official cities where NFL teams played, and the likenesses in terms of statistics were pretty close. But it really wasn't the real thing. It wasn't like playing Tecmo Super Bowl where you had all the licenses in place. This was a little bit different. Now, over the years, EA would eventually secure those licenses, and much later on, they would purchase an exclusive license outright so that nobody else could make an NFL game, but that would be years down the road. So my original experience was with John Madden football, then Madden 93, Madden 94, which is one of my favorite games in this series, Madden 95, which was an offensive juggernaut. You could just run up and down the field and score at will in that game. 96, which was kind of an interesting transition year because that was supposed to come out for the original PlayStation and never did. The first Madden game for the PlayStation was Madden 97, which is one of my favorites because of the presentation. There's some really cool FMV sequences with Madden and Pat Summerall, his play-by-play partner, also with James Brown in the studio. That was back, I believe, when they were with Fox. So I loved that presentation, the idea of that telecast at home. And all the while, it still played very close to what the Genesis and Super Nintendo games would play like. We didn't really get into polygons until Madden 99, which is celebrating its 20-year anniversary this year. And then when we got to the PlayStation 2 and Xbox era, I think that that's consistently the best period of time for the Madden football series. It was constantly being pushed by the 2K football games, and we're going to get to those as we go through the football season. But I thought that was really the high point of the series, at least in my opinion. We moved from 30 frames per second or less to a very smooth 60 frames per second. We were adding new features all the time, like owner modes, radio shows like with Tony Bruno, fantasy football type of play. You could create your own player and guide him to stardom, try to get him into the Hall of Fame, go through different drills. All of that stuff, additional, really built on top of the foundation of what was a really solid football game. And with the Madden games, although the presentation wasn't as strong as the 2K games, and again, I'll get to those later on in the series, I do like some of the presentation aspects that were introduced. Some of the replay angles, especially in Madden 2001, I thought were really cool with the focus on the football and the camera would kind of zoom back so you could see the player catching. Things like that I thought were really neat. Some of the stat overlays I thought were good. Some of the players looked lifeless, but that improved as the years went on. So I've played all of these games. I have every Madden game from the original John Madden football for the Genesis all the way up to Madden 2012 for the PlayStation 2. Those are all the ones that I have complete in some way, shape, or form. I had the Madden games for the Xbox 360, but when I traded that away from Xbox One, a lot of my Madden games, because the Madden games don't work, so they were basically worthless. So I have a little bit of a gap there. I'm slowly but surely trying to add the older Madden games for the Xbox just to kind of keep those in my collection. And they're pretty cheap to get now, so that's something I'll be doing in the near future. So I've been playing Madden games for more than a quarter of a century, which goes to show not only how old the series is, but how old I am. I've enjoyed this series very much. I enjoy arcade football games like NFL Blitz and Tecmo Super Bowl a bit more, but I can't discount the simulation aspect that the Madden football games bring to the table. So let's get to the game that I have to show you today. I talked about the fact that I have all of the Madden games from the original all the way up to 2012. For the PlayStation, we started out with Madden 97. I talked about that. 98, 99, 2000, which was probably my favorite Madden game for the PlayStation. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, and that's where my collection stopped because I thought in my head that 2004 was the last year. That brings us to the game that I have to show you today. And it's doubly cool because the cover athlete for this game was just inducted in the Hall of Fame this past weekend. I am, of course, talking about Madden 2005 for the PlayStation, released in 2004 by EA Sports. And yes, that is Ray Lewis on the cover wearing his number 52 for the Ravens. The PlayStation 2 and Xbox games and the GameCube games, obviously those are going to be better. They run at 60 frames per second. The players aren't pixelated. There are certainly more and deeper features. There's a really cool Hall of Fame edition of this for the PS2 that has some additional features like trivia on there, has playable Madden 93 and Madden 2000 on there, so you get to play for the Genesis and the PlayStation as well as the PS2 game, and there's even more features on there. I have that in my office. I don't have it here. This doesn't have anything cool like that because we're trying to put stuff on a regular CD, not a DVD, so we don't have as much storage space. Here's the back of the case. Trying to hold it so you can see the screens and what's there without the glare from my laptop screen. Fear the D because you have Ray Lewis on defense there, being a middle linebacker. The features in this game: take the league by storm, build a powerhouse NFL franchise from the ground up by conducting trades, signing free agents, and more. So that's pretty deep. Master the 2-minute drill. Time is winding down. Can you handle the pressure in this intense game mode? That's something that got carried over from earlier Madden games for the PlayStation, and a pretty neat mode to play through, honestly. Authentic NFL playbooks using playbooks by the licensed NFL Coaches Club head coaches. I believe that Bill Belichick was no longer part of this when this came out. Earn your place on the trailer. Play well and you might be named John Madden's Horse Trailer Player of the Game. That's pretty cool. And the true NFL experience featuring current uniforms and team rosters reflecting off-season personnel moves. So you get up-to-date NFL rosters, real NFL playbooks, all the new uniforms, and a full franchise mode. So all that packed into this one little CD. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this open since I've been yapping along for probably too long now. Hopefully some of you guys stuck around to see the main event. So we'll go ahead and we will open this up. There we go. This won't be as easy to open or at least to slide off as the earlier games for the PS2. So there's the case. We do still have the ID sticker on the top there, Madden NFL 2005. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take that off. And then we're going to look on the inside. I don't believe there's going to be much to see on the inside, but we'll see. So we'll take that off. We'll put that right there. Got to be careful, of course. Yeah, I mean, this is really, really late. Here's what we have on the inside: a very white, black and white Madden 2005 disc, and an EA Madden Challenge Unleash the D thing that you can take a look at. Unfortunately, this case looks like it's seen better days. That's okay. I can get other cases, so we'll take that off. I don't know why that is. I love PlayStation, I really do, but the PlayStation cases, not so much. There we go. All right, so on the inside, we actually have a pretty healthy manual here of about 20 pages. It is not in color. It is black and white. Shows you all the button commands. I like to look in the beginning because usually they'll talk about new features and stuff. Unfortunately, that's not the case here. Activate your Madden meter and watch it rise as you make big plays. When your Madden meter is completely full, he gets a boost for the next 3 plays. So that's kind of cool, kind of like a momentum meter. So that's available. They talk about game modes here. Setting up the game, exhibition, season, franchise, custom league tournament. Tournaments are kind of cool if you get a bunch of friends together to see who the best Madden player is. Coach's Corner, you can brush up on your skills or master a specific team's playbook, so you get some practice there. Situations, you can either create your own situations or use some that the game has provided for you. 2-minute drill, you have to go through the last 2 minutes of a game. Pulling off big plays earns you points. So that's kind of like an arcade mode. There's a head-to-head challenge and more. There's also Madden cards as well. That's something that had been a staple in the series since, I believe, Madden 2000. Way to accomplish certain tasks. It was almost like an achievement system. You accomplish certain tasks and you can buy cards, which in turn power up your players or your teams. So that's pretty neat. And again, yeah, that is Ray Lewis looking mean as ever on the cover, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame this past weekend after a 33-minute speech, I believe. And if you've ever watched Ray give a speech, he is very, very motivating, pours himself into it. The guy was a puddle of sweat by the time he was done. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it on YouTube. It's really worth watching, I think. So that is this episode of Unsealed. We have opened up Madden 2005 for the PlayStation, and this now completes my PlayStation collection of Madden games. I have them all complete and in cases, so that's really, really exciting. I'm glad that I have this. There will be more football to come as we get ready for football season. I do have some football games over here in the pile of things to open, and we'll definitely get to those in the coming days. As always, thank you very much for watching this episode of Unsealed. I really do appreciate it. If you have any memories of Madden you want to share with me, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. I love reading your comments and about your own experiences, whether they reflect mine or whether they're completely different. It really doesn't matter. I love hearing from you guys. These videos are fun to do, and I'm going to do them as long as I possibly can. And I certainly have more than enough games to keep this going for a bit longer. So until the next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. See ya.